Now, starting the recycled plastic build off, I've been looking at this jar. It's a peanut butter jar, and I'm intrigued by this bottom bit. So what the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and cut it off neatly, because I want a section of it to start with. So I'm going to start with that and then go from there, because I've got no theme for mine or anything at the moment. It's what comes to, well, it sort of takes shape. I'll decide which way I'm going. I'm not decided yet. I've not even decided on a chassis, but I just want to muck about this jar to start with. Now, working with these materials, I tell you what, you wouldn't believe how tough to cut carefully this plastic is. But I've got the main part of the jar cut down to hopefully fit inside, and that's what we're going to start with. It's supposed to be a sort of bonnet and grille. That's what I'm aiming for. Need a bit of thinking now. To get it to fit, I've had to cut it over, and the biggest problem is there's a slight angle, so we can only fit it to a certain size. So that's a bit of a pain. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be tight fitting or anything. You know, it's the illusion of what it looks like. Yeah, I think if I get this sort of closed back in, I'm going to remove the label next, because I don't want that on there. And yeah, it's going to take some thinking. Like I said, it's coming to me as I'm going along. Typical, it's got horrible gooey stuff. This could be the biggest pain in the build, is the glue. So we'll come to that as and when. That's what I've come up with so far, is sort of start of a bonnet and grille. The thing is getting it to size and straightened up and getting it together. Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting sort of bonnet, but he's sort of going sort of a vintage sort of look at the moment. You know, don't know whether wacky races or something silly. But then if you go wacky races, you've got to copy something exactly, really. Now, where I've made this sort of grille, I've made a disc of cardboard that fits inside, and now we're going to put some ribs on it. I'm going to start with a single strip of card, and if it's not bold enough, if I think, I will put I'll put a second strip of cardboard on top to make it twice as thick. So let's get that done and see what it looks like. There we go, a cereal packet grill. Once it's behind, there we go, it's got the effect I want. Now I'm going to glue this into place somehow. That is the thing, because it's only sitting on an edge here. Unless I make another cardboard ring that drops into here, I can glue in. That might be the answer, and then glue to that. Because the thing is, what I was thinking is, where there's that goo, is we put that to the bottom, we ain't got to worry about it too much. And that, I made it too perfect a size to that, which is good in one sense. So let's make another ring out of this cardboard. So hopefully it fits down just in the groove and we can glue that into place. That's what I'm aiming for. Or just making a ring a bit bigger. so it fits up tighter, so as long as I've got something to glue to. Now I've picked a chassis, a squash van, and I've just been trying a few things out for ideas, and I've been mucking around with some milk cartons, see what I can get them to mount. Just see what sort of shape you can get, because that is quite an interesting shape once it's trimmed off like that. And I was thinking of adding a bottle on the inside, maybe. I don't know. See, the thing is that what I've come up against, we're going to find, is it's really flimsy. It's not that thick of plastic. It's surprising how thin these are. Like I said, it's all trial and error the way I'm building, because it's what comes to mind. See, I've got my grill bit, and then can I mount onto the side? You know, I've cut the first couple of bottles up, but I think I'm going to need some more. You know, this is sort of like prototyping. I need more material to secure to. So where I've cut this away, I need the inner part here. So once I've got a couple of more milk cartons, I might be able to go a bit further forwards. I'm having trouble with this gluing together. That's come apart again, so I'm going to use some clear glue and tape it. Now, after trying all those floppy bits of plastic, it wasn't really going as well as I wanted, so I thought of trying something else. I weren't happy with that, so I changed tactics. Instead of trying to build onto, I'm going to build outwards, if that makes sense. So what I've done is I've took a tub from a buttery thingy. I've cut a hole out, so this can now be fitted, and it's all marked up where to line up. And what I've done is I've used cereal packet to pack it out, because I'm trying to keep as much to not using the 3D printed stuff as possible. You can't do everything, because you need a figure and things, which I have got a figure, quite surprisingly. There you go, the cardboard space is it. Run into a bit of a problem. I'm hitting the bumper a little bit, but I don't think it's too much of an issue. I could use it as a resting point. See, by doing this through the tub, I've got a mounting point, and I've got somewhere to maybe add arches or something. I don't know yet. It's, like I said, you've got to work this out as you go. So I'm going to get this mounted up and think of maybe trimming it in, and then we'll be working on a main chassis, which is another point, a problem. But what I'm going to do is another tub at the back as the mounting point, and try and build a centre section through. Start with like a transmission section, and then we can look at fitting a figure in, because I printed for somebody a figure for them where they got a file, so I printed myself one some time ago. So we've got a figure to go in, and I think he's going to look quite good. So that is one bit 3D. I know it's 3D, but you've got to have a little bit. Right, there we go, we've got it roughly together. Now we've got to build a tunnel down somehow, and mount it to a rear one. If I can get it to this in this first part, I'll be really happy. So let's get this rear one mounted and just see how we go. Now this is as far as I'm going on this part of the build. I'm sorry to say it's not a pretty sight, but it weren't going to be at the start. Well, we've got the sort of snout with the grill, we've got a bulkhead section, we've got a centre tunnel, we've got the rear mounting area, which has got to be reinforced more, but it's mounted, so that's something. It's a bit flexible at the moment, but as we add more to it, it should stiffen up with ease. But that's as far as I'm going in the first one. It was getting it on. Though I like the look of the milk bottles for the lights, the plastic was just too flimsy, and that's why I've left the edge on here. It can be trimmed a bit later maybe, but it does make it more rigid, and that does seem to be important. I've got some tidying up around the front. I've got to put another band in, but not at the moment. Like I said, I'm finishing here and then look at it and think. That's how I like to work. I like to stare at it and think and think and think, and then something will come and we'll go forward. It's like what we're going to do on the side bits. The figure, I think that's going to work. It's going to be a big bulky thing, but it looks like almost you could have a bigger figure. But that is in 1/10, but that'll be big enough. But that's the fun of it. We're making something silly, and that's the idea of it, but it is all made out of waste.